The next part is explaining about smallpox and how that was the secret weapon of white supremacy and why we were killed. We weren't killed because they had horses or because the guns and we were spooked by the guns or we thought that they were gods. That's all BS. It was about the smallpox that they used on us again and again and again and again till 95% of our people were killed, 70 to 100 million of our people were killed, and that was our Holocaust. It's good that we have empathy and sympathy for the Jews that were killed by the Nazis, and we should. All of humanity should care. But here we are, we're crying for the Jews, but we know nothing about our own Holocaust, which is a monstrously huge Holocaust that happened to us. And that's one of the things that we need to commemorate as part of the changing of ourselves as a nation, is to be commemorating this Holocaust. We have to, we're kind of doing it with the anti-Columbus protests by remembering that there was a Holocaust. But that's something that has to be more of a reality in our lives. And then it goes on listing all the different crimes of the Europeans, the laws that the Europeans passed, basically the papal bulls that basically declared us non-human beings, that it was okay for them to steal from us and kill us, and then the laws that the governments passed that officially kept us ignorant of our history, and even kept Europeans, because they wouldn't even allow Europeans to write about the history. And that's when they did a lot of the burnings of the books. And then White Supremacy 101, which is about the evil nature of white supremacy, and that we have to see it in all its ugliness and all its evil and all its crimes. We have to see it, how it's affecting us every day of our lives, and how it robs us and how it dehumanizes us, and it keeps us from our full humanity, and it keeps us from being an independent nation of people. And these are a lot of thoughts to keep in mind. But there's also a section on here about our human rights. Our human rights to our identity, to our unity, to our history, to our ownership of our land, to our being able to move on our lands, to know the truth, to know about the crimes of the Europeans, to commemorate our Holocaust, that we have the right to stand up against genocide. We have the right to have our own languages. We have the right to travel our entire continent. We have the right to issue our own identity cards. We have a right to demand a peaceful transition to liberation from colonialism. It's a lot of things. It ain't gonna get done next week. It ain't gonna get done probably the next 10 years, but this is the beginning of it, for you to be thinking about all these different ideas. There's an explanation about Mexica Movement, who we are as an organization. I think most of you who are here probably already know, but like I said, we have a flyer that explains a little bit more of that. And there's also this statement on Nazi Arizona, the Indian removal acts of neo-Nazi Arizona, because this is a continuation of the Indian removals, what Columbus was doing in the Caribbean, where they took our people out of those islands and took some of them to Spain, took some to other islands, and then of course massacring and then killing and then using the smallpox, down to the time of Andrew Jackson, moving the Cherokees, or even in the areas of what is called Central Mexico, moving the people that were left out of those cities and moving them north, whether it was up to Saltillo in Coahuila, or moving them up to Chihuahua, or moving them up to California, or out here in Arizona, moving our people from place to place, basically to conquer more and more of the lands so that the Europeans can use us as a slave labor in those different areas. Because obviously they weren't going to move into areas, clean it all out of our population, and sit down and actually do the work themselves. It's not the way it works. It wasn't all a Little House on the Prairie. It was more like Gone with the Wind, slavery, in a lot of different ways. So that's basically the contents of this booklet, which we have copies of. It's still it's a first draft, especially for this presentation, and hopefully you'll be able to use it as a guide. And those of you who don't take one a day, within about a month, we'll be able to have it on the internet, and we'll have a special website where you can basically take a look at the material. Básicamente.